right, so we're also talking Olympics here, getting you all the way to February. Coming up, we know NHL players are back in the Olympics. So let's talk a little bit about the men's team, Hailey. And I feel like the big conversation that's been going on over the last week is surrounding some of the young bright stars. So Macklin Celebrini, Connor Bedard, both top 5 in points in the NHL right now. And then you've also got Matthew Schaefer, last year's, or I guess this year's 2025 first overall pick, lighting it up on D with the New York Islanders. So let's put our GM hats on for a moment. If we can just sort of put ourselves into Doug Armstrong's brain, what would you do? Would you include all 3 of these guys? Would you take one of them? Are you going vets? Are you going youth? To me, it kind of feels like a bit of the same conversation we had back in 2006 with a young kid named Sidney Crosby. Ultimately didn't take him to Italy for the Olympics, and we all know what happened there. So what would you do this time around, Hailey?
Obviously, in a vacuum, I think all 3 players look great this season and could absolutely be on Team Canada, but it's always a little bit more complicated than that when we're talking about roster construction. Luckily, the men do get an expanded roster for the Olympics, 25 players versus 23 at 4 Nations. So like you technically have room, like, yeah, let's bring one extra forward, but it's not just about let's cut one guy and add both Celebrini and Bedard. There's Tom Wilson pushing for a roster spot, and I think he should be there, in my opinion. Like, I am making room for Tom Wilson no matter what. It's going to be heavy hockey, and he's a point per game player still. It's not just about the grit factor. Like, Tom Wilson's just a very productive, good complementary player who can scale the lineup. So I'm bringing Tom Wilson. There's also Nick Suzuki. But I also think that Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard should absolutely be in the conversation. Do I think there's room for both of them to make it? No. So this is where it gets tough for me. I think Macklin Celebrini, I'm writing his name in pen. I think it would be crazy for Celebrini to not be on the Olympic team. He is top 5 in points per 60 in the NHL right now, along with Connor Bedard, 2 of the most productive players in the NHL at this time. I came into this season being like, Celebrini clears Bedard. He's great. Was that recency bias? Absolutely. But whatever Bedard did this summer has clearly worked. He looks great, and he's got that elite shot that would do well in a best on best format. In one game, you need to win it. Here's the guy with one of the best shots in the NHL. But then who am I taking off the roster for Connor Bedard? And can Connor Bedard be productive and be that elite player if he's in a bottom 6 role? Because there isn't room for everyone to play on the top line with Sidney Crosby or beside Connor McDavid or Mitch Marner. So that's what makes Celebrini an easier yes for me than Connor Bedard. What do you think, Karissa? Are you making room for both? Are you cutting them? And then Matthew Schaefer is a bit of a different conversation, but sticking with the forwards right now, I'm taking Tom Wilson and Macklin Celebrini 100%, and then I'm figuring out the rest. I'm kicking the can down the road of who I cut.
I mean, I guess, there are a couple of X factors here. One is that somebody could get injured, Lord forbid, between now and then with the compressed NHL schedule in particular. But I think, the argument of veterans versus youth, I think, is kind of a strange argument, given that nobody's been, not nobody, obviously Sidney Crosby's been to the Olympics, but almost nobody on this team has gone. So I don't know that it's going to necessarily be a huge advantage for somebody I don't know, a Tom Wilson over a Macklin Celebrini. Neither of them have been there. So I don't really 100% buy that argument.
Sure.
We're talking about Connor Bedard. To me, he's just so much faster this year.
Yeah.
I popped into the North Shore Winter Club where Celebrini and Bedard both train over the summer when I was in Vancouver. And, Bedard in particular, that was what he worked on all summer, was getting faster. And you can definitely see that. But I agree with you, Hailey. I don't know. Do both of them deserve to be on the team? Yes. Will both of them be on the team? Is there room for both of them? I don't know. I don't know that you bring Bedard in a 4th line role. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Celebrini I would bring, though, because I think he's a more versatile player. Yeah. To your point, we know he can also play beside Sidney Crosby because we saw it at the World Championships. They've got that chemistry. And as you said, Hockey Canada pays attention to that stuff. He showed up to that tournament. So Celebrini is a yes for me. I would say Matthew Schaefer is a yes for me as well.
Ooh.
I know it's a bit of a hot take, but I mean, I think you bring him in kind of like a Drew Doughty role, right? Younger player, get him the experience. If he's going to be a defenseman of the future, for this team, I think he's had a fantastic season on a not so great team on the Islanders. And so I'm going to say Schaefer, yes. Celebrini, yes. Bedard, I wouldn't take him over like a Mark Scheifele. Or I wouldn't take him over, to your point, Tom Wilson.
Yeah.
Who am
or
I
Nick
cutting
Suzuki too.
Or Nick
like
Suzuki.
Suzuki can at least play. The problem with Bedard is like the defensive game. Like you want his offense, but where does he fit in the bottom six, and can you trust him defensively at the Olympics?
Yeah. Like, do you put him out against, the top, the Team USA's top line?
No.
And can he play a defensively responsible game? So I think if the answer to that question is no, then what are you bringing him for?
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough though, because then what if you lose a bunch of 1-goal games? Like, ooh, wish we would have had that shot.
Yeah.
At least there's other guys who can score for Canada. Like, this isn't going to be, I know in 06, I think it's easy to look at them leaving Sidney Crosby off the roster, but there was like more wrong with the Canadian national team in 06 than just like, I don't think 18-year-old Sidney Crosby gets them over the hump to a gold medal. Who are you cutting from Four Nations to bring Tom Wilson and Macklin Celebrini?
Travis Konechny.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah.
And then I guess that gets us there for 14. If we cut Konechny and then add Wilson and Celebrini, that's 14, right? I can't do fast math. But then there's still no Nick Suzuki, who I think should probably be there too.
I do think, though,
I think Mark Stone could end up being like out. He's hurt right now, right? And if he takes some time to get back, maybe he's not top firing by the Olympics.
I was just going to say the odds of somebody, not being able to go because of an injury, and Mark Stone, like, bless him, but I think pretty much every year he's got something going on, so I feel like he might be the odd man out.
But still no Connor Bedard.
Still no Connor Bedard, but you know what? I mean, I'm happy with that. I think Macklin Celebrini has more versatility to his game. I see the value. Like, some people might say, "Oh, bring him over Brad Marchand." I see the value of a Brad Marchand on this roster.
Yeah, me too. I'm not cutting him.
I wouldn't cut him.
Yeah, we kind of ignored the defense, but that's fine.
I don't think there's a ton of change for me on D, but I do think I do see the value in bringing Matthew Schaefer.
So would you take Schaefer over Bouchard to the Olympics?
I think I would, because I think if Bouchard isn't on your power play, then what does he have to offer? I don't know, like, defensively.
Yeah.
If it makes a whole lot of sense to bring him.
And we know defense is important at the Olympics.
Don't ask me about the goaltending, Hailey, because I don't know. And to be honest,
that's not my business.
I don't think Team Canada knows either. So
no.
Thoughts and prayers to Doug Armstrong on that one.
Yeah.